Notice that behind and beyond the field of efforts is a space of effortless silence. Any effort to be silent becomes merely a cloud passing. The silence is already inherent in the self, in that natural space of isness or pure being, undisturbed and undisturbable. Is the pure self. You're here. It is our true place. Sometimes in front plays the effort to become, but this is watched and watchable. When this is observed, don't go with the pull towards thoughts. This is a habit of the mind. Stay as you are. Even here, mind engages with effort and misses the natural silence. There is no tension in the self. Because there's no effort. Notice this. If the feeling of effort is coming, that is okay. What is making effort? See if that can be found. Don't identify. There's a space within us where nothing changes. Because it is always present, the changeful can be observed. You are the undisturbed self. But the habit is to doubt this. Watch both the doubt and the habit without becoming involved. Remain in the natural state. Don't try to analyze what the natural state is. It is concept-free. Any habit or reflex to engage with the person or the sense of personhood is also a cloud passing. Nothing sticks to the real. May you confirm this. Efforts are not merely to be empty, but to know and be the self. For whom is this advice? What responds to this advice, to this pointer? The intelligence of the being. Still, the ultimate is untouched. you're in the place to confirm this. If we should feel a rush of activity in the mind, don't panic. Don't engage. Mind is seeking attention. There is no pretense in the self. It cannot be manipulated. It cannot become what you think or imagine. It is without desire. Truly recognizing that which alone is unchanging automatically blesses every aspect of your expression spontaneously. Notice that within the self, there's no time. The pull towards future or past has no power here. Why to know this? Why to recognize this? Is it merely to escape from the realm of the mind? For the one who is free, there's no fear of the mind. The psychological aspect of the mind cannot intimidate the natural self. It can only intimidate the idea we have of who we are, and not the truth of ourselves. In some of you, this is already nicely establishing itself. This most important discovery. The self is untouchable. And to know this beyond merely intellectual conviction this is freedom. Don't plan your awakening. So right now, you may leave everything aside. As much as you can perceive, simply don't engage or combine. Just for the purpose of being totally clear as to your true position. The wise leave everything, even the sense of I. What remains? Be so here that any response is already late. We are the timeless, experiencing time. The formless, experiencing through form. The imperishable, experiencing mortality. The pure, experiencing imperfection. Don't cling to any image or concept. and spontaneously this is confirmed in you. Watch and see. Mind grows only through the attention given to it. Same as the person. The very person itself is a time-bound phenomenon appearing in the self. It too is a cloud passing. For the one who is free, it has no reality, no magnetism, so even the term freedom this concept is not natural to the self. When we taste the feeling of bound, then the taste for freedom feels very true. But in a natural state, even this sense of freedom is meaningless. It has never been bound. Have I gone too far to say this? The consciousness which shines as the light of the world itself is perceived in the immensity of the Absolute. There is no need to imagine this. But if you desire the world, this knowledge will not fully confirm itself in you. There is an innocence in phenomenality. There is no cynicism towards anything that appears. But whatever appears, disappears also. Whatever comes, goes. This is naturally known and felt within our being. Yet the habit to identify at the level of the body-mind seems to persist. When we consciously observe this, the grip loosens. And again, you may confirm yourself as the weakness. The space returns. But it never left. Therefore, freedom means to be conscious of your consciousness. That is the experience. The only one which is unchanging. The uncreated self. Mind will invite you to accept the sense of personhood as your reality. It will seek to convince you of your ordinariness, that you're merely flesh, blood and bones, and conditioning. But there is within everyone that seed of knowing that reminds you that you are the imperishable self. Unblemishable. Without knowing this, world is doomed. For this reason, I say, you are the seeds of awakening in a sleeping world. But there remains still sleep within us, pulling you into time. When we remember and recognize our true self, this spell, this delusion is broken. These things should be our daily experiences here in the Sahaja. For in truth, there's space for little else. This is the power of this place. To support your awakening. All experiences have a beginning and end and duration. But that which experience is experiencing is timeless. But when will we know this? The vibration of unbroken peace and joy is flowing in you. But do you recognize them? No. Who are you? Truly. Apart from the inexplainable. Apart from the indefinable. Who are we? To the self, nothing happens. And yet there is no conflict between activity or the dance of the life force and the self itself. They are one. Delusions are no challenge to the self, for in the self there are no delusions. For the self is beyond belief. Do we need imagination to know this? Imagination cannot reach. These words are not for your mind. But your heart knows them. For in this way alone, we honor ourselves. How to make this understanding stay? How to make it leave? Once you have seen, you cannot really unsee. Once you truly see with the power of the heart, you cannot unsee. A natural deconstruction happens when the false begins to fall away. This is the experience of many of you. I hope most, but I wish all. If in one instant this can be deeply known, then this is the value of one instant. What is the value of the infinite and the timeless? Who will assess its value? Inexhaustible source. That which you are directly perceiving now, can it fade? Can it leave? What distance is this from your own self? Once it is seen, delight yourself in confirming it over and over again to your heart's joy. Yet the habit and reflex to sleep you must overcome. This sleep means sleep of ignorance. Actually, in the truth, ignorance does not exist. Largely, we are suffering from the phantoms of our own projections. Identify with nothing. Be even beyond attitude. When consciousness plays birth, then within every sentient being must come the taste of delusion. Desire for the ephemeral. Walking through the forest of existence, the forest of time and change, of life and death, we forget. But when you remember that you forget, you breathe again in the pure light of consciousness. All that I say is provable now. Unless you offer it to your mind. In satsang, we've been somehow preparing for our own darshan of the formless, while all the time you're the formless. And yet, we must taste. This is the play, which we suffer until understanding comes. But we imagine we so much enjoy. Is there joy in the realm of the ego? Most certainly. Because it is also born out of consciousness. Don't put your attention so much upon the words, but in the place from where they emerge. You're here too. Greater and beyond any concept who is experiencing this? Only the self. Nothing in the world can give you the self, because you are inseparable from the self. It can only reflect. Clean the attention. Return it to the source. Being quiet does not mean being lazy. Finding your stillness, your natural state, is the most powerful. We cannot gauge this power, for there is nothing that can compete with it. Therefore it shines as love and peace, compassion. In the realm of the dynamic. Find yourself as the unmoving. Yet the dynamic cannot be without you. Soon, your eyes will not see sorrow anymore, even in others. Better to bless than to pray for. Because when we pray for someone, it may contain judgment. To the earnest seeker, it is as though the infinite is bursting to reveal its beauty, its glory, its perfectness. What can obstruct it? Our lives are swimming in grace. And yet, if we believe our minds, it will make you doubt this.